section of how to identify improved or advanced patterns. All right, so in general, improved patterns happen in the consolidating markets. So here, for example, we're on a let me get another line. We're on the 1 hour chart right now. Here we have some consolidation happening, right? So if we drop down a time frame, let's drop to the 50-minute time frame. I'm sure that we can find some patterns inside this consolidation. But first, I want to show you some ideas on how to begin to find these patterns in the market. So generally, for the Gartleys and the bats and the butterflies, they have a similar construction of the patterns. So, for example, we get these M kind, right? The pattern have these M shapes, right, and these W shapes, right? The M tops and the W bottoms, right? So in the beginning, when you're trying to seek out the patterns, I encourage you to begin to seek out and find those tops and bottoms, right? It's amazing what the mind will let you do when you start focusing in on something specific, right? So if you have a chart going up and down, all chaotic, right? But if you set your mind to find those M's and those W's, you will actually start to see the chart in a different manner, right? So, and that actually helped me personally a lot in the beginning, way back when I was starting to train my eyes to find the patterns. So that's a neat trick to have in the back of your mind, right? The second thing, which is really important, is to find those obvious points of structure, right? These obvious points right here. Something like this, right? So for example, if I was trying to find some patterns inside this box right here, the first thing I would do is to try to identify those M's or those M-shaped tops and those W-shaped bottoms, right? Don't worry about the rules and the conditions just yet. Just begin to train your eye to see those M's and W's, right? So we have, what do we have here, right? We have this M-shaped top right here, right? We have this W-shaped bottom right here, right? The second thing is start to see, and actually we have a lot more. We have this one, we have this right here, this V right here, right? And some others, but that's the first thing. The second thing is when you're done identifying the tops and the bottoms, begin to see if they actually can be a valid pattern. So the second thing I used to seek for was, all right, I see the tops. Does the second top exceed my first top? If it does, well, then I can scrap it just right away, right? I don't even think about it anymore. But if it doesn't, that is something that will concern me, right? Because this might actually possibly be a pattern, right? So then it's time to find those obvious points of structure. And this, guys, is really important. Really, really important to ask yourself, where is the obvious point of structure, right? So if this was our leg right here, where is the obvious point of structure, right? Is this the obvious point? Is this the obvious point? No, of course, this is the most obvious point of structure, right? So when you've identified the most obvious point of structure, then you can actually begin to measure out your ratios, right? So you drag, our first rule is of every pattern is to drag our Fibonacci retracement tool from X to A, right? And this will tell us what kind of pattern is possibly setting up, right? We have the retracement to what? The 50%. What does that mean? That means that we can expect a bat pattern, right? So the Gartley, the butterfly, everything else goes out the door. So then we take a look at our second leg. A retracement from A to B has to touch the 618 but can't exceed A, right? Touches the 618, so there's another valid leg. Our final leg is the retracement again from X to A. To touch, it has to touch our 886, right? That happens right here. So guys, this would be a bat pattern, right? Looking something like this. And of course, my bats are blue. So to help me identify what I am doing, I will color this blue, right? So these are the steps I went through when backtesting and tried to begin to identify the patterns, right? It's important to know, and it's important for you to realize that you will not find all the patterns right away. You will have to scroll through endless amount of data and charts, and maybe in the first try you'll find 2, 3, 4 obvious patterns, right? But then when you continue to train your eye, continue to find those M's, those W's, those tops, those bottoms, right? Those obvious points of structure, you will start to see that, yep, you will find more and more and more and more patterns in the market.